scenario. We are going into the second game here on AUCTION on Waste. To the bottom right, we have the Terran player in red, down a game in the series. It is...
Master, SK Telecom T1 Fantasy.
OGN has an OGN Ops clan for their observers. That's cute.
Well, starting to the top left, the player in the lead with a 1-0. He needs another map win if he wants to bring it to the tiebreaker. It is...
Grandmaster, SK Telecom T1 Rain.
Rain handily dealing with Fantasy's drop play in game number 1 and then just rolling him over like a steamroller running over a stuffed animal or something. It just had no chance. And here again, would expect to see Fantasy take gas to scout, because if Rain did an aggressive build like that in game number 1, who knows what he's capable of doing in game number 2.
Yeah.
You got to find out ASAP.
What do you think Fantasy is going to do? Game number 1, we saw him with an attempt to hit a timing and to be aggressive here. Do you think he's going to try the same thing, or will he just try to play safe and go into the macro game?
Well, he's taking a gas again, so to be honest, I would expect almost the same thing out of him. Not necessarily the same way, not the same execution. He may, for example, get the tech out faster and forego the Reapers this time. He'd just get a faster factory. And that was actually part of what hurt his drop last game, is the Reapers really delay your factory tech because they cost 100 gas just like a factory. You could have made the factory when he started his Reapers instead, and even skipped the reactor. So it makes the drop so much slower, and it gives Rain all the time in the world to get that Mothership Core energy out, to get that army out that he used to defend.
Well, right now, of course, for Rain, everything is still here on the line, and Iva and First, they are watching, they are in the studio as well. Best of 1s in the tiebreaker is going to be the case. It won't be best of 3s. Once again, if you just tuned in, their map scores will be disregarded, so we will not look at those. It's only about the match scores in total, and all 3 of them would end up with a 2-1. Reactor First, once again, for Fantasy here. He started with a double Reaper in game number 1, might do the same thing here in game number 2.
Yeah. Absolutely possible here. And, you know, he has the gas nearly. I think he is actually... He doesn't have to do it, but he can.
Could go for it.
I mean, he's got now at 94 gas. The reactor's going to finish, and I think he's going to do it. Yeah. Well, could be a factory, though.
There we go. Double Reaper.
Double Reaper.
Double Reaper, and the same build that we saw in game number 1 also for Fantasy. So very similar to the builds that both players use in Bongali.
It's just funny how we talked about, you know, the possibility of doing the exact same thing, and so far it looks that way. He's going to start his command center now, and then go into the factory tech. On this map, the Reapers are good for the same reason that I described the Stalkers with Blink to be good. There's a lot of up and down, high ground areas where you can access with the Reaper. It's really hard for Rain to be able to cover all of his bases to deny Reaper scouts, and also it's really easy for the Reapers to escape once Rain you know, tries to chase them down with his Mothership Core and his first Stalker.
All the Reapers are on the way now. We have the factory also just being started, so Fantasy could very well try to go into a very similar build to what we saw in game number 1. For now, the Reapers will do, trying to get in there. The Mothership Core is also in the game, and we have the first Stalker. Should pop out just in time. The Reapers trying to enter through the side entrance here, and the Mothership Core just outside of the range, but the Stalker is there and can immediately start to take down a few of those Reapers. They try to kill as many Harvests as possible, taking the first probe out, and even the second one, not quite.
If he targeted just a little bit better, he could have gotten that one.
Yeah,
he may lose a Reaper. One more shot.
Yeah, gets one
goes down.
And there's no probe at the natural just yet, so he can't take down any additional units. The Robo is coming in once again.
Yeah, he sees everything. He sees the Robo, he sees all the pylons, he knows there's no proxies, he knows that the Nexus is on the way, he knows the timing for that. So the bigger key for this Reaper type build is to make sure you scout. If you only send one Reaper in against the Mothership Core like that, you're not going to get as much reliable scouting information, and you might come in too soon. So that's why the double Reaper build is good. It also gives you the reactor for more production on the Hellions, so he doesn't have to waste time on his factory to make that. So it's a good build. I like it a lot.
A bit of a difference here for Fantasy going into the Forge. That's something that we didn't see in the first game, of course, since he started to be very, very aggressive with his Immortals and his Gateway aggression here. So he's changing it up. And for Fantasy, he goes straight into the same build that we saw. He's getting those Hellions out, he has the medevac, he will be able to drop those Marines in the main base. And if he hits his timing a little bit better than in game number 1, he might be able to hit natural and main base at the same time.
Yeah, the one other key difference here is that without him moving out, then Rain should have all of his units at home, making it much easier for him to defend an aggression like this. And here we go, Hellions now sneaking across the map. We're going to see the exact same push.
Yep. He's in the exact same style. Observer is already going across the map. Did not see those Hellions and also is going to miss the medevac. So Rain does actually not know what's going on. He's going into the Twilight Council here and even gets a few cannons up, while Fantasy, as in game number 1, takes his third base behind it.
This build that he's doing, I like it up to the point where he gets a third CC, because that's just asking for trouble. That's so risky against anything a Protoss is doing at this time. He has no units. He's trading his only units to put pressure on.
He needs to put those Hellions into motion. Right now they are not doing anything. They are just hugging that Xel'Naga watchtower. The medevac is going to the main base. There we go. Moving towards the natural, but the timing is once again not really
And there's a
perfect
cannon.
here.
There's a cannon in place. Rain already prepared for the possibility. The Hellions doing nothing here. Now he moves them in, but way too late. By the time that he gets the Hellions in, the units of the main are going to be cleaned up. He already leaves his Stalkers here.
Stalkers are just waiting for that to happen. Here come those force fields. Stalkers moving in, and the Hellions actually could get really good shots, but no, the split is too good. Gets a few additional kills. How many did he take down?
It looks like 7, 8, 9.
9 SCVs in total. That's actually... Well, it's not... I don't think it's really worth the investment, but it's a lot better than I thought after I saw the time.
Right, you know, after the Marines died, it was looking a little bit sketchy, but he almost made it worth it there. Charge is on the way, and of course the Temple Archives. Rain, known for his storm play, he's getting his Warp Prism out here, as well as the armor upgrade continuing through. Archons
and Charge Lords alone are just so strong, especially with the upgrades. He could just try to bust through here. And
Fantasy has a risky third base. He doesn't have a lot of units here. This if he tries to hit a timing with this attack...
There's not even a bunker at the front, Wolf.
Yeah, he's taken some serious risks. This is what we described might happen. You know, you're playing against a teammate, somebody who knows you well. Maybe you take greedy risks. This is something that Rain can see right now with his Observer.
Yeah, and the second armor upgrade is also in the production tab. The Observer getting into position here. And let's see how Rain is gonna play this from now on. Here come those High Templars already.
Extra gates. No Storm. He's skipping it. He's just going to have Storm, or rather, Charge and Archons. It looks like +2 armor is on its way. It may finish as the attack is commencing. This turret will clean up the Observer.
Yeah, turret at the front. It's not going to be DTs. He might have got a glimpse of the Twilight Council, and just as a precaution gets the detection here.
Would make sense. And it's also just very annoying for any Observer that wants to come by. 4 additional gates being added right now. No attempted third. Does not even send a probe over. And, you know, Fantasy, if for some reason Rain is not doing the timing we think he is, then Fantasy actually gets a lot of capitalization on that third base that he's had for so long.
That attack didn't do a whole lot, and the Warp Prism is on the way to the bottom right. He can start to warp in, load into the Warp Prism, and then head into the main base.
Yeah, he can do an Archon drop, actually, with the tech he has. If he warps in 4 Templar there, makes him 2 Archons, and does an Archon drop, we've seen that in the past, does a ton of damage. Fantasy playing this smartly, gets his Ghost Academy up now as he sees what he's facing. And it looks like after he was scouted, Rain is strongly considering the possibility of just taking a third base instead.
Here comes that go for the main base of Fantasy, though. The Warp Prism is on the way. Zealots are in there, 4 in total. Let's see how much damage he can do to the mineral line. The +2 armor upgrade is nearly done. The turret is too late. Oh, and the army is just moving out.
Charge Zealots are... The charge upgrade is ready, so it's going to allow him to close the gap on those SCVs a lot. He's also moving out with that timing towards the front. He's chasing the army. He has a third Nexus on the way, too. He's doing a lot here.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of multitasking, and he's trying to break through. No, he's going straight for the third base, and this one is completely exposed.
Yeah, he needs to do damage here because he knows that Fantasy's had this base up so greedily for so long. Nice save on these Zealots, keeping the army kind of harassed in the main base while he goes for this attack at the third.
The Warp Prism is still there, and Fantasy actually taking a bit of supply lead there.
Yeah.
We have Storm now on the production tab. So far, no Ghosts, even though the Ghost Academy is done. Möbius Reactor has been started. And this third base for Fantasy gives him a bit of a lead in supply that was so fast. And
he's so many Harvesters going down, but he's actually still ahead in Harvesters, 59 to 58.
Yeah, but lost 10 SCVs now.
No. Vikings take out the Warp Prism. Fantasy, he's capitalizing on that third base that Rain has not touched. You know, you take a risky third like that so crazy riskily, and then your opponent doesn't attack you, then you're going to get a massive lead. The one thing that Rain continues to do is get his upgrades. He's about to hit +3 armor.
Yeah, we have 2-2 now on the other hand for Fantasy, so that's something that he can afford with those, with the extra economy that he has. The double upgrades, but also the Forge now completed for Rain, so he immediately starts his +1 attack upgrade. We still have the supply lead for Fantasy, but with good storms here, it's all come down to the battle between the Ghosts and those High Templars.
Yeah.
Moving right into the Observer view, and that's of course very unfortunate.
Yeah, he's going to have Zealots only. Could have gotten some High Templar there to go for the feedback, so a lot of those medevacs high on energy.
Yeah, here comes another warp, and he cannot put can't possibly make this happen. He's trying, though.
He's trying here, right on top of those Zealots. The Archon doing some extra damage at the front. He can lift out, and he will. Good Storm gets one of the full medevacs. Nice.
And drops immediately at the third base. That's
Zealots
the best
coming
thing
in.
Can do, but another warp-in is already on the way.
And those Zealots with so much armor here, cutting through the Marines, at least buying time here. For Rain, the Photon overcharge is good. He tries to target the Nexus down. There's too much DPS here.
Yeah, units left in the main base, make sure that there's not another drop happening. He's trying, though. He's moving in again, but against the Archon, that's a really, really bad idea. Archon takes down another Medivac. Not quite.
Really nice choice of where to put the units. He puts the units away from that weakened medevac just in case the Archon took it out. Good micro here, and Fantasy's multitasking off the charts in this game. He's really starting to pull Rain apart. Rain is catching up in the upgrades, but Fantasy just continuing to be aggressive everywhere at once.
Rain is actually really pulling ahead with the shield upgrade now and going into the Colossi transition, where Fantasy attempts here to do damage are really well executed. He's going into the natural, where he attacks the third in the main base. He's trying to get himself another base now, but still.
I have a concern for Fantasy still. He has no preparation. Now finally starts the Vikings after a scan. He had nothing for the Colossus transition that's coming in. He continued to make ghosts. He has on the map 9 ghosts, but they're not as useful against the Colossi as, of course, the Vikings are.
And Storms, that's exactly where it comes down to. The go. Well, it's only one Colossi so far, but he can transition into it, of course, a little bit later. But if the Storms now hit, that's a different story. He needs to make sure that those EMPs hit home, and then he has actually the DPS that he needs to take down his army. Got the... there we go, scan ahead, and the Observer, of course, still on position.
Oh, those rocks are not destroyed, actually. He has an opportunity to run right into the third base. I think he senses a trap, perhaps, doesn't walk in. Because the rocks can be used against you as well. And all the ghosts are ready for EMPs. They are poised. Snipes on the Templar. He needs to turn around and storm those.
Gets the first. The Archons at the front. 2 of those High Templars are already gone. Gets 1 feedback off.
Oh, Fantasy is in such a great position. He has so much energy still left on the Ghosts. He's got the better army here.
Taking a 4th base behind this, getting the personal cloaking for the Ghosts too. That will help him a lot moving into this position. We have the shield upgrade, the first one, now nearly completed for Rain, and the next attack upgrade is very close. But so far, Fantasy just waiting a little bit longer, maxing out.
Rain made a pylon here to try to do some run-bys, was not able to get it to work. This is not a good position for Rain to be on top of the ramp like that. If he gets funneled down into a huge concave of Bioforce, it's going to be terrible. Fantasy did not get 3-3 for the longest time, Calder. I actually thought he already had it. He's just now starting this one. He has not gotten upgrades in so long, despite having the resources for it. This could actually come back to bite him in this game.
I actually think it will. We have him with additional bases now, but look at the top that we see for Fantasy. He's getting those additional upgrades out immediately. The +2 shields is now there, and by now we have 3 Colossi against 10 Vikings, if I'm not mistaken. That's a huge commitment to the air units. Not too much anti-air. The Archons are the most important part here. If he gets those under the Vikings, that would be the best thing for him.
He also wants to make sure he gets the right angle here because he has very few ranged units. He has the Colossi only, and then of course a few Stalkers. The Archons, they're practically melee units. Yes, they do have a little bit of range, but they need to close the gap as well. And if Fantasy gets an engagement and a choke point where he can dodge storms and then get a concave afterwards, and the Zealots can't really fight, that's exactly what he wants.
Speed for the War Prism is starting to be researched by Rain here. He wants to have a bit of a mobile War Prism here to just get into those spaces a bit faster. But at the same time, the next attack upgrade has been started here. Both of them are maxed out. The better bank at this point in time for Rain, but Fantasy has those extra command centers and orbitals also on the way.
He's getting a nuke. Yeah. And a second Ghost Academy. 6-7 missile turrets. Very much preparing for Warp Prism drops. Fantasy's not taking any chances with this game. Wants to be totally prepared for Warp Prisms and all. I like the nuke choice. He's just going to continue to try to pick away at any of the bases he can find.
With the nuke, he can be very positional here. Here come the feedbacks. Amazing feedbacks.
But the EMPs are good too, and actually, I don't think Rain can take this fight. All of his units instantly down on shields.
And we have those Colossi trying to take down the Marines, and now he has to back off. The
relatively even trade.
Medivacs are really doing a lot here, but those Archons are a bit out of position.
Zealot
we have a Zealot warp in at the right side of the map, taking down SCVs.
And Fantasy has to make a tough choice. Does he turn around here? And it looks like he will. So many SCVs going down here.
Double Robo by now. The +3/+3 not done for Fantasy just yet.
Yeah, and I think that's really one of the reasons why Rain was able to take that fight so handily, and also he takes a really huge supply lead here, Keller. One CC not cancelled, the second one is cancelled.
The warp-ins are just incredible for him. He had that bank and he used it immediately after the fight, so he takes that supply lead now, takes down those missile turrets to the right side, and both of those, yeah, he killed so many of those CCs that Fantasy just tried to build and get a lead in economy.
Yeah, the position here for Rain now is excellent. I'm going to give you guys some unit numbers that are relevant. There's only one Colossus left for Rain after that fight, and only 4 Ghosts left for Fantasy. The reason why that's important is because we still have 9 Templar on the map and 12 Vikings. So those Vikings are kind of dead supply right now. One Colossus is not really your concern. He's getting a second one, yes. So right now, Fantasy has to make some tough choices, but compositionally, Rain is ahead.
Compositionally, there's a 30 supply lead that he currently has, and if you just look at the army supply, we have 120 for Rain and 105 for Fantasy.
He's down a lot on the SCVs. And oh, the storm!
Oh my god, that storm was beautiful.
God.
That was art. He took down most of the Marines already with that storm, and now Rain is, Fantasy is in an even worse spot than he was before.
I have to check how many kills that Templar has. 16 kills on that Templar.
He must have stormed earlier already, right? He didn't just kill 16 Marines with that one.
Well, I don't know. I think you're probably right. But still, he has 16 kills in total, so
He's
very
a hero
valuable,
regardless.
Yeah, very valuable Templar there.
Bottom left, we have the 5th base now coming up for Rain. Still maxed out. Look at that bank that Fantasy has here. Dude, you have to hit your production. 170 supply and 1,400 minerals and gas.
He only has, it looks like, 8 barracks working right now. On the amount of bases he has, he should have more. I think he's very stressed out right now.
Yeah, it looks like it. Dark Shrine coming up now, and well, Fantasy is losing another Rain is losing another High Templar, but the storm against the Marines
micro on
was
the bio just not impressing me in these fast few storms. Rain just being very aware. This double drop could do some damage, but there's a lot of defense set up back at home.
More and more Ghost Academies are being built. He's getting more and more nukes into the game. And
he needs to use them, though.
Exactly. I want to see those used. Can he take down one of those bases or maybe just nuke the mineral line?
Neither of these medevacs has ghosts in it. Don't be alarmed. Those are Marauders in the second medevac.
Oh, he could actually take down that upgrade. He could take down the +3 shield upgrade.
Could, and he will. Goes, targets it, the speed warp prism comes over, but warp prism, the speed observer just looks at the army very menacingly. Not a whole lot of defense able to be done there. He's also going to attack, 2-pronged attack, goes in the main base, draws the entire army of Rain back, and he's going to kill his base over here at the 9 o'clock expansion. There's no Templar here, nothing. Oh, well, I spoke too soon, there's one.
Yeah, there are
actually a few more on their way.
And they get that stuff. Look at those
feedbacks!
Oh my god, that was so good.
There's a nuke, though, a defensive nuke here to try to outposition the Protoss army. Don't think it will work, but he does kill the expansion.
Rain doesn't care about the expansion. He actually just moves into the bottom right, and he's like, why would I actually play your game and run? I am gonna... Oh no, he's not gonna attack him. He's gonna flank him from the side.
Yeah, he wants to go for the flank. Another nuke going off here. This is a really good position, though, for Fantasy. He just needs to... Oh, this nuke is so pivotal here, and there's a lot of probes coming over.
Yeah, probes coming, but I don't think they're going to take too much.
Terran army
storm will be fine. Oh! Nope.
That was intense.
Yeah, that was intense, but only a few of those zealots are being attacked. Oh, a nice position here for the Vikings taking down
over there.
That Colossus.
He gets the Nexus. That's really, really important. This is really starting to affect Rain's income. Yes, he does have a bank, but his income is very negatively affected by this.
Yeah, the bank is pretty insane, actually. 1,700 minerals and 2,000 gas.
Another nuke here.
170 supply. The nuke is going down once again. The Ghost is already dead, though. Another job now, but immediately the zealots, they are there and welcoming the Marines. Bam! Feedback and bye-bye medevac.
This is still a decent position for Rain, but he has to make sure that he can get his economy back up and started. Fantasy, on the other hand, is not doing the best in the world when it comes to economy either.
Rain has 140 army supply against their 100.
Very defensive nuke here. And the Stalkers, actually, if microed correctly, could kill the Ghost, but it looks like he's not going to go for it.
Yeah, a lot of Ghosts, Cloak Ghosts are trying to take down those Stalkers, but now it's Rain's turn to attack, and he has sick upgrades and a huge army. If he can take down those Ghosts...
Yeah, but the EMPs are already off. The Templar at the back. How much damage can he do with these storms? It looks like a lot so far.
The Planetary is saving grace here. Keep in mind that all of those Vikings are essentially useless at this point in time. Yes, he's transitioning closer again, and then they will become important. But in those fights that we have right now at the bottom right, those Vikings don't do a whole lot.
Fantasy was ahead in supply for just a moment, but then that bank for Rain kicked in. The Speed Observer is chasing down the Ghost. It will be blinked upon and killed. Well, should have been. I don't think he notices. Yeah, he's going to get it.
We have 2 observers on the map, but he has pylons everywhere, just making sure that he knows where exactly Fantasy is moving in from. And now another drop to the left side in the middle of the map. Those pylons are being taken out. More and more Archons are also brought into the game, and we have those additional Colossi is up at 3 now, with the one that is currently popping out of the robotics.
Yeah. This is... Rain has taken control of this game. He retook his bases. He has the better upgrades still. I mean, it's hard to argue about upgrades. When you have the shield upgrade, it's kind of like you have better upgrades in the Terran. Both are full.
He just denies those bases to the top right.
Yeah, he keeps denying the bases. He has the larger army. He has the better army composition.
We have the drop moving in at the bottom left, though, and maybe with the dropship here, he can do a
You get snipe the Nexus again, I think.
We don't even have a forward pylon, if I see that correctly, so there's no warping point.
Yeah. He's going to lose the space. He has to pull the probes away.
Yeah, but it looks like Rain doesn't care. He's just moving in with what he has, and that's actually a whole lot. He's taking down most of those units and forces another lift on the command center.
The nuke will land here, doing a little bit of extra damage. It was more of a defensive measure against in case Rain decided to come over with his army to defend this. Nexus will go down. He has another one over at the 8 o'clock expansion on the other hand.
It's still a 50 supply lead for Rain currently and the bank that he has. But he is moving back once more. He wants to take down the drop. The Ghost running out of energy.
Yeah, Rain is going to go for the kill here. The base, although, to the 8 o'clock expansion is actually spotted, and he will lose it. So Rain has to be careful, because if he loses this base and his army, he's going to be the last army he has.
Yeah, he's starting to run out of income here.
But he may actually just be able to kill this army straight up. Targets the medevacs first, there can be no escape.
Yeah, it's going to take down the rest of the Bioforce as well. Those Zealots are going to charge in just a second, and even the Colossi flanking here.
Yep. So many storms available to him too, and that's a stem of retreat. The Archon is making quick work of that.
Yeah, 50 supply lead still, but he needs additional bases, and he's getting his lowest Nexi up once again.
Yep, rebuilding the Nexi. Fantasy just trying to stabilize any way he can here. Units running to the top right. Another nuke goes down at the 9 o'clock expansion.
Yeah, those nukes actually doing a significant amount of damage, and the
get the probes this
are
time.
going over here. You can't even see that dot.
Yeah. I don't think he... Well...
Oh, that's... Oh, he saw that. Oh, wow. He actually saved half of them at least.
Yeah.
At least that.
Well, the worker count is now massively in favor of Fantasy. The problem, though...
16 kills for the Ghost.
The problem for Fantasy now that the workers were just killed is that actually that means more army supply for Rain in a situation where income is an interesting thing. I like this a lot. He feedbacks his own... he in fact feedbacks his own medevacs, or EMPs his own medevacs, so that they cannot be feedbacked.
Well, here comes the army again for Rain. He's starting his +3 shield upgrade again. That's the one that was sniped a bit earlier when he was when there was a drop in the main base. And talking about drops, another one is headed straight for the main base here. But Rain, he is done with this. He wants to end this game. He's moving in and starts to take down those rocks. But I don't think he has anything at home. He's actually maxed out, so he can't even walk in units if he wants to.
Yeah, he needs to be careful about engaging into a choke point against Fantasy. And the drop that's coming to his main base is problematic. These Ghosts are leading the charge here, and Rain is walking all the way home with this massive death ball that he has, +3 shields. Another attempt here, looks like it will be stopped. I'd rather see him go for the Temple Archives, to be honest.
Fantasy is building up such a massive bank now, 3,000 minerals and 3,000 gas. This is incredible. I mean, that guy, he could open up his own bank.
He is, he's down in army supply about 25. This expansion is going to go down. He nukes as well, making it very awkward for Rain to chase. If he goes in right now, he should be able to snipe the Ghost, though. It depends on if he targets or not. This is insane cover.
I don't think he sees this. Now he sees, and he actually moves most of his units back. Needs to move a little bit further in. Yep, nothing done with the nuke.
And here comes the rest of the army. He's just going to walk through the nuclear radius here.
Fantasy is taking a significant lead in supply, and keep in mind that he has a massive bank.
He has a massive bank, but Rain wants to end this fight now. He's going to actually take out so many of these Bioforces with his Zealots. He picks up a few of them in the medevac, saves them. Rain takes a supply lead again, but there are several units actually still to the bottom left.
And once again, this drop to the top right, to the top left has not been used just yet. He might have actually forgotten about it. He sends another 3 over.
There's going to be 5 in total, and I don't think he sees this nuke. I don't think he sees it.
Number 1, he doesn't see the nuke at the bottom left. He doesn't pull his SCVs away at all. And he might not even see this one. Takes on the Ghost.
What? The Ghost, the...
Bottom left.
Yeah, he killed every probe. But doesn't matter because Rain is on his doorstep. There's a triple drop that's denied to the north.
Yeah, the drop has already been taken out. There is just way too many Zealots and also the feedback. And suddenly he can't do anything with that supply. And he is now being... Yeah, he's actually being sieged up at his production. He can't get anything anymore. The Stalker's blinking into the base. There's the Storm taking down those Vikings, shielding the Colossi.
Yeah. This is looking worse and worse for Fantasy, but he still has this mobility with the drops. As long as he can, somehow rebuild his production, maybe, just maybe, he has a chance. But
Army supply is 106 against 60.
Rain is taking his production apart here. He's got all the Templar on the main base. The only thing that Fantasy has is a little bit more income and these drops. That's all he has to go on. He's only down 20 supply, but he just can't make anything, whereas Rain can.
Yeah, and Rain also has really good vision with those observers on the map. He knows about the base at the top right, but for him it's now a lot more important to take down the production.
The units that were attacking the base, the bottom left, died, but so did Rain's Nexus, and he doesn't even have enough minerals to remake a Nexus, so he has to long distance mine from his old 4th base until he has 400 minerals. So this gives Fantasy some time. He's the one who has the better income, and he's trying to rebuild his production right now. Two starports and 5 barracks on the way. A nuke goes down here.
The problem is he just can't face this army. He can just zone him out a little bit with those nukes, but in the long run, does that really make it worth it? He's losing his production. He has to rebuild his barracks, which is exactly what he's doing right now. Zealots in the main base taking down the supply depots. There's another Storm. He's losing even more. He's just on the run now, and I'm not quite sure if he can get enough army supply out there to really face Rain.
Yeah, just lost several medevacs worth of army as well. The Zealots are slowly picking away at his depots. GG! Rain takes us into the tiebreaker.
Rain breaks us to the tiebreaker with a 2-0 over Fantasy.
Really nice play there by Rain in game number 2, especially. The situation he was in looked like a dire one with all the pressure that we saw from Fantasy, all the ghosts he had out, the EMPs were good. But in the end, Rain was able to get a few excellent storms that got him back into the game.
Fantasy loses and is now, of course, out. Even with the win, he would have been out of the group. You knew that already. And Rain is now in a tie situation with Haiva. And first, we're going to see best of ones from here on out, trying to determine the 2 players that will advance.
Yeah. And it could go on until we have those 2 players advancing for quite some time, depending on how the matchups go. And because the players have to set up and get into the booths because they weren't even sure they were going to play this match in the first place, I guess we're going to have a maybe even a longer break. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think we are having another break before we're starting with the next set of matches.
Yeah, because the players, they have to set up. They didn't know if they were going to play or not. They're just seeing this through, hoping that they weren't going to, but that did not end up being the case. So we've got Haiva and first need to set up. Then we're going to have rotation. So basically the tiebreakers work as everybody plays against everybody in a circle, and it's best of ones.
Exactly. So we will see a couple of best of ones as soon as we are back from the break, trying to determine who advances. 2 players can go to the round of 8. It's going to be a tiebreaker between first Haiva and Rain. And we got the invite to lobby. That might mean that we don't have a break. Okay.